Live, Sunday night. Yes, a little teaser earlier. That was just to test our system because I am alive. I don't need a corpsman. Wednesday, I did go down. I went down hard, but it wasn't me. It was my system. Once again, logistics, my fault. Messed it up completely. But we are back. And however, we are 1 hour early. And I'm going to ask you a little bit later if this is a good time. It is Sunday. I was doing it. My thought process isn't that great, but I thought about the East Coast, the West Coast, Hawaii, overseas. For you in the UK and Germany, I can't help you out too much, but we're trying to find a good time. Wednesday is 1900, and that's because it's a work day. So Sunday, non-working day, maybe we can push it a little earlier. So again, later on in the show, I'll ask everyone if they'd be okay with it being earlier. So we are live. I'm on the screen. I have my production team here, and we are ready to roll. SFMF Live Sunday night. So being Sunday, of course, hope you have already had time to spend time with God. If you haven't, there's still time. No excuses. And our excuses, we got caught up a little bit today. A lot of things going on. I'm going to share some of that with you too. So we're doing it right after the show. Online, you could do it anytime online. And it says it's successfully connected. There we go. All right. I'm in again. Awesome, Bryce. I saw you on earlier. Hated to cut everybody off like that. There we go. Everybody's up and rolling. Carl, thank you, brother. I'm gonna call it here in about 30 seconds. But I see Bryce, Carl, Elena, OG. All right. What's up, everyone? And yes, it is time for roll call. So fall in. You know the deal. Let us know who you are and where you are tuning in from, because we are live. SFMF Live. And I'm going to wait until somebody sees that baby behind me. If you were here Wednesday, you know what that is, where I got it from. And the quality of it is truly amazing. Put that up earlier. Big M, Big Erm. Good to see you, brother. Checking in from California. My name is Elena, and I'm tuning in from Florida. Florida's nice, so see East Coasters. All right, it's a little later. So again, keep this in the back of your mind. Don't answer now, but in a little bit, I'm going to ask what time on Sunday works best for everyone. Detroit, Motor City. That's where all my uncles are from. Detroit, D-Town. How about them Lions? What are they going to do this year? Nebraska's in the house. Carl, always good to see you. Started our clock, but you know we're going to ask you to have our back on the time. Little Red Army, got you. Oh, from Georgia, Augusta, Georgia. All right. Alpha Rizzler, who's my favorite soccer player? Good one. Number 1, Kimi Cece. All right. She's my favorite soccer player. Oh, good again. Me too, OG. Carrie Ann Potts, watching from the UK. Welcome from the UK. What happened to my notification? Did you not get a notification? Is it because it's an hour early? Is it because, did y'all get notifications that it was starting? Again, we're an hour early now. It's Sunday. We're 1 hour earlier. Don't answer now, but I'm going to ask later if this is a good time. So, roll call. Where are you tuning in from? And the next question is what? What are you drinking? All right. You know I'm drinking water. Always hydrating. Got my coffee over there. Elena, congratulations. Good on it. She got engaged. The Papa Smurf, the OG. Good evening, Sergeant Major from New York City. Hope you had an awesome weekend, my friend. Thank you, brother. I did. And I hope you did as well. Well, Aaron Cece, drinking some water, hydrating. All right. Bryce from Minnesota, and I know dang it, it's going fast. Pacific Coast Pipe, Spokane, Washington. Spokane, Washington. I've heard of it. I've heard it both ways. Never been able to serve in the military, but I serve in a sci-fi club, the charter of I got to read faster. Northern India, Salty Saxy. What's up, my brother? Got the scotch, always. Wine too. All right, little chaser. Southern Missouri, drinking some water. Mad Doc, good to see you, brother. Big rack of ribs on the smoker and drinking water, water, water. Damn, that sounds good. Carl. Muhammad Saeem Ali, have you been in any movies? Right here, YouTube. That's the only movies I've been in. No movies. I would like to. Who would I play? Brady Powell. Emerald Isle, got any cheap rentals? Good one. Second Coming, what you got? Is that American flag? Hurrah. Semper Fi, my friend. Is this Joe Rogan? Shoot, one day, maybe. Drinking bourbon and coffee, that's quite a mix. All right. Muhammad Ali, you don't lose a fight if you get knocked down. You lose a fight if you don't stand back up. That's Muhammad Ali. He said that. Great quote. All right, once again, hydrating. And you know what else I always have on standby? Because I drink it all day long, every day? Some coffee. Never. Got sardine on there. You know these stickers are still available as well. Get them while they're hot. URAH from Alaska. URAH. All my respect to you, you all vets. Thank you for your service. Thank you, El Prophet. Appreciate you. Salty says, bourbon and coffee? Did we just become best friends? URAH. Recruited my son. True story. All right. Hope you got credit for that. Good evening, Sergeant Major. Drinking water. Good on you, Lay Cookie. You see what's back there, Lay Cookie? You see that, baby? Don't worry. I'm going to talk about it in a minute and put a light on it. I'm going to follow instructions. Yeah, of course. Got the new flag up behind you looking patriotic. All right, Carl. You know, I was supposed to wait to see who saw it first. Spent hours putting that up. Hours. Not really. Just took a few minutes. It is concrete walls back there. All right. I don't know if it... short rippets. Oh, I like the short rippets. Not now. I wouldn't drink a rippet now. Of course, in country, when they shipped 1 billion of them to us, normally blazing hot in the summer and freezing cold in the winter. But they were good, and it's the best thing we had, those rippets. Not a huge fan of them, but it was much better than the warm water that we were drinking. So rippets were good. They were lifesavers at times. A little short ribbit. Rippet, not ribbit. Okay. All right. Did that on purpose. Buckethead. Thanks, Lay Cookie. That's why I could do that every now and then. All right. Yeah, it's only funny because that's from you. You know, the only one that can say that. All right, Pacifico Piper. My character is the corpsman. Same bugs, guns. I only drank them on deployment as well. The rippets. They're good, but really only on deployment. Again, I wouldn't drink them here. All right, almost done with the drink, so now I'm going to drink some water and some C4. C4 is always good too. They don't make C4 like they used to. And here's a little plug for C4. Don't work for them or promote them anyway, but I'm a big fan of C4. And one of our deployments I was in Iraq. First sergeant, and we were way out in the middle of nowhere, 2-5, retreat hell. Awesome battalion. Most highly decorated battalion in the Marine Corps, FYI. We're way out there in the middle of nowhere. Mail, I don't even remember, months before we got our first piece of mail, but I wrote a letter to C4 because we made our Flintstone gyms, right? Our backyard gyms, lifting parts of Humvees and barbed wire rolls and anything we get our hands on, concrete, parts of the building we just blew up. So we made a gym. All the platoon posts made some sort of gym. But they had no protein, creatine, pre-workout, none of that, because mail just wasn't coming in. Once it started coming in, that's when the Marines were asking family members. They'd get a bottle here and there, and everybody shared it, and it was gone in 2 days. So I wrote to C4 and explained our situation. We're an infantry company, rifle company, way out in the middle of nowhere, in the heat of things in Iraq, and on the downtime, little downtime that the Marines do have, they like to lift some weights to get some aggression out. Could you send us something? The only question I asked C4, the company. You know, those guys sent cases and cases and cases of C4, the little small bottle of pre-workout, a couple samples of different things, all different flavors, a couple posters, completely supported us. So good on you, C4. Appreciate you supporting America's finest, right? Fighting for our freedom. So good on you, C4. And I do like a good C4 workout. All right. So we've had roll call a little bit. Let's see who here is still here. RJ, joining us from Cleveland, Ohio. Joey Casey, do you believe one day we might have EMP electric? I don't know what that is. Jaguar, Joey, do you believe in one day we might be hit by an EMP? What's an EMP? Better not be setting me up for something. Out of all your ranks, which did you enjoy more? Carry-on Potts asks. It's a very good question. I always, when I'm doing my shorts and I'm talking about a rank, I've said that's the backbone of the Corps more than once. But hands down, without a doubt, no way in hell to change my mind. The Sergeant, that guy right there. The Sergeant is the backbone of the Corps, no doubt. It was absolutely my favorite rank, but of course we all want to get promoted. So I didn't have a problem with getting promoted, but by far the most green I ever was when I was a sergeant. As a drill instructor, I went to Mountain Leaders Course, summer, winter, became a McQuist, the Marine Corps instructor for water survival. I did so much as a sergeant. I absolutely loved it. I loved the responsibility of being the top of the NCO category. Not a staff NCO yet, where you can kind of get in trouble. Still learning as a sergeant, but sergeants make it happen. So Sergeant, great question. Thank you. Meaning like the war where they send that type of, like a bomb, I think. Yes, the whole world. Michael's drones, RCs, and it's good to see you, brother. Just reminding everyone in the chat, please don't forget to smash the like button for our awesome host. Thank you, brother. Always, Michael's drones, RCs, love you, brother. Thank you. Electronic and pulse is what it's called. EMP. I think what we're really trying to do is stay with technology and go to a time when we can go to no boots on the ground, which in my opinion should never happen. You always got to have boots on the ground. Age, it shuts down all electricity. They're flying. Electromagnetic pulse, EMP. All right, me, young Ma. First of all, thank you for your service. Second, what's the best advice you can give for a Marine Corps boot camp? I leave in 1 week, and I'm a squad leader at my Poolee training. Young Ma, here we go. You're in the right place. Stay with us. Today and Wednesday, if you don't leave till next week, here's what you need to do. And I'm going to break it down as much as I can one time on paper. I'm going to create a book. And there's a lot of different things that we talk about, and how do you prepare for boot camp, and then what do you do once you get there? All that has to come into play. But the more you do now, you got a week. And if you're a squad leader with your police section, you obviously have been doing something. You're displaying some kind of leadership. You got to be physically fit, and you know some drill. So those are the three big ones. If you're going physically fit, that's not going to hold you back. You're not going to be on remedial PT. They're not going to focus just on you to thrash the heck out of you. Well, yes, they are. They're going to anyway. But you'll be able to take it better and move on. You're not going to have to work on it at night. Drill, you're a squad leader, so you know drill. So just look into the drill manual between now and then and see if there's other movements, obliques, flanks, open and close ranks. Maybe you haven't done that stuff yet, but know how to do it. And then basic Marine Corps knowledge. The more you know before you go, the better. Everyone remembers the story about my daughter. Top bunk in her room, she put the general orders on the roof, wrote them. Not directly on the roof, but on a poster board. general orders. She had the code of conduct. She had Marine Corps mottos, a couple different historic people, Chesty Puller, Dan Daly, Smedley Butler. She had the rank insignia. She was a JROTC cadet, so she knew all of it already anyway. So it just helped her. Then once you get to boot camp, which we talked about, did I do a short on it? We just talked about perseverance. Once you get in there, you're going to want to quit. There's going to be times where you think you completely made the wrong decision. You're going to want to quit or give up. As long as you never do that, you'll be fine. The other one, there's a lot of comments on, be loud and fast. Keep your mouth shut. Do what you're told. Almost common sense on how to graduate boot camp. Problem is, there's so many people, and today young people aren't used to being told no, aren't used to being yelled at, aren't used to not getting their way all the time. So if you can get over all that, you'll be fine. If you can get comfortable being completely uncomfortable, you'll be fine. All right. Good luck to you. Yes. I just missed it, Michael's Drones. That's what gave me advantage when I went to boot camp. My friend's handbook, plus I was physically fit. Got to keep that attention to detail, says Robert Pitka. Definitely. Attention to detail. Do exactly what you're told. Right? Mouth shut and do it. Ran missions. Salty ran some missions in Helmand, 2014, with a few Brits attached to us. They did well in the firefights we got in. Worked a lot with Brits. Salty, I'm with you. I think they do very well as well. Yelled at my niece and I got in trouble, says Jake. Awesome. What did she do wrong? What did she do to make you yell at her? Nice brother. Brothers in arms. My man. Just hope you have an incredible day and stay blessed. I was in Kabul and Taipan in 2018. All right. I can't thank you enough for the great advice, says Young Ma. Appreciate your time. Will absolutely keep this in mind over the next week. I was devil pup and love learning to drill. URAH. I'm telling you, Young Ma, you got everything in your back pocket right now. So you are going to do well. Make sure you come back once you're a Marine and fill us in. Let us know, and let us know the latest and greatest. All right. So my producer is communicating with me. Yes. And my little mini me is also communicating to me. A couple of different topics today I want to talk about. Overcoming some adversities. And here's what happens. Even though you're 17 and 18, most of you, before you joined, some of you may have had a little bit of problem getting in the Marine Corps. And once you're in there, talking about alcohol, drugs, any kind of disciplinary problems that you were faced with prior to going in. And then the attempt to want to get back on that same string once you are a Marine, once you go home on leave, back to those old friends. So overcoming that, years and years of it. Alcoholism, it's real. Is it in the Marine Corps? It's in all the branches of service. Someone asked me just recently, is it prevalent in the Marine Corps more than the others? I don't know numbers, I don't know the stats, but I think it is. And it's because of our mission. Marine Corps' mission is just a little more intense, and our off time is very, very limited. In the infantry, we're back to back. 3rd Marines, before they made the transition to 1 littoral regiment. 3 battalions shared the mission of 4 battalions. So you can imagine 3 battalions doing the job of 4 battalions. So our off time when I was with 3rd Marines was a 4th less than the rest of the Marine Corps. So pretty intense. Marines start smoking, start dipping because everyone else is doing it. You got nothing else to do. You're in the field, you're training, you're in combat. They start drinking. So all these things kind of happen and intensify as your experiences intensify. Or You just had that problem before you came in. So I'm going to ask a couple questions a little later about that. How to overcome those adversities when you do find yourself with a drinking problem. How can you help? Or how can people help you? What can you do to help yourself? When is it time to make that change, right? Instantly, over time, can you do it? All kinds of things that go with it. It's not that easy. But teamwork, use your family. All right, so that's one of the main topics. And then I want to talk to you about a movie I just saw with the Marine drill instructor on the cover. Wasn't what I thought it was going to be. All right. Greetings, Max Swan, India. All right. So we held our roll call. Looks like we have a full house. We are a little earlier, 1 hour earlier than normal on Sundays, but we want to make sure that you get the word out. Here's the first poll we're going to take. First question. Should we go earlier on Sunday? This is just 1 hour earlier. Remember, keep in mind, East Coast, Central, West Coast, Hawaii, overseas. Again, we'll do our best to try and help y'all out, but we got to keep it as general as possible so we can get more of our community members or warriors in on it with us. So let me know what you think. Sundays. Wednesdays is not going to change. We're going to keep that at 1900 Central Time, 1900 Central. Wednesdays, it's a work day. Sundays, though, we kind of have the day. Spend time in the morning with Jesus and then spend time with SFMF in the evening. Let me know what you think. What time would be best? Salty Saxy says, I like the 1 hour early on Sundays since it's currently 1922, my time in the Midwest. 7:22, that's a good time, right? You did what you had to do during the day. Isaiah says, I feel bad when that happens. Very stressful situation. I see many smoke cigarettes and stuff. Just in general, I get stressed, but they need to do more healthy things. I'm with you, Isaiah. So my stress reliever is the gym. If I'm in a location where a beach is nearby, surfing, definitely something other than something that else is bad for you. Don't put anything foreign in your body that you don't need to. Something that can affect you will affect you 100% later. Smoking and drinking, obviously drugs, bad for you. Dang B says, anytime. God bless you too, Joe. Lake Cookie says, good to go with this time on Sunday. Think we might be doing it. 1800, get that in the back of your head. 1800 on Sundays. 1941, World War II. Were you there? Connect Dread. Marines can't tell time. I was an hour late anyway. Go join the Navy. When are we doing it? The Sergeant Major can never be late anyway. Relax on trolling. Good fun. Get some, Justin. They better be funny. If you're going to troll, at least be good at it. Half the trolls that come in here suck at it. It's annoying. Salty. Don't make me sick salty on you. All right, here goes one. Dang beast. How long you took to normalize yourself with the daily life of a normal person after retirement? I don't know if I'll ever be normal again. Nor do I want to be. So, but I get your question. How long did it take to kind of normalize yourself, get back into the swing of things? I'm still working on it. The civilian community is different. No two ways about it. And my transition immediately was I want to say it was pretty easy because I went from Afghanistan home for 30 days and started working at a JROTC unit. So I put my uniform right back on. Still PTing, thrashing people, shooting, drilling, everything just like a Marine, just with civilian high school students. Great program, great idea, great concept. And again, it was an easy transition. The part I had a hard time with is they didn't love it as much as I did. Had a few, and that went on to join a branch of service, which is great, but it really just wasn't enough. I wanted to not only help tomorrow's leaders, but I wanted to help the future right now. Once I realized that transition out of the military is as tough as it is, I wanted to shift my focus to them. Help service members with their disability, their VA loan stuff, anything involved in making that transition from a military to civilian, because it ain't easy, right? And especially the senior guys who think they had it all figured out. I didn't have any of it figured out. So it was pretty tough transition, and that's why we do what we do now. I want to build this community so we can all support each other and continue to serve, but help each other transition from military to the civilian sector, because the civilian sector is pretty brutal at times if you haven't grown up in it. I see some transition really easily and fall right into that trap of the civilian community. Like recently, like you wonder if they forgot where they came from and what it was like to have camaraderie and teamwork and have each other's back. Right? They can tell you that all day long, but do they really? Who can you trust is what it boils down to. All right, great question though. All right, be cool. Agent 61 is here. What's up? Change the subject quick. Isaiah, I'm not in the military, but I have much respect. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, Isaiah. As do we all. Again, I nothing better than when someone does say thank you for your service. Some people, I don't know, get a offense to it. I don't see why. David, I'm in the reserve till active. Get some, David. 6 days out, and I was a police officer. Good on you, Dave. Donald Pollard, still serving, brother. Good. I'm sure your board meetings help the transition. Yes, love them board meetings. Board meetings in the Marine Corps, it definitely helped me transition to the civilian life with more board meetings. And if you know, you know. My board meetings are on like a 10-foot surfboard. So I got a 9.6, I got a 10.2. So it depends on which board I chose that day for my board meeting. And yes, they help. Thanks, Lay Cookie. Agent 61, I don't feel like joining the Army at all. Good on you. Join the Marine Corps. URAH. Motivation. Never stop. Carl, go for OCS. I missed the rest of it, Carl. Put it back up there if you'd like. I'll read it this time. You're late for PT, bro. Wake up. I remember the time we went just a hard closing door gets active. Good days through. Man, terrible time reading that one. Let's see what the producer says. My pops is a retired gunny. I feel scared of applying for Marine Corps OCS because I feel I'd let my dad down if I couldn't hack it. Any advice? Currently in the Army. Awesome. Okay. Crowell. So, wow, that's a lot. So your dad's in the Army. He was a gunny in the Army. Did I get that right? And now you're getting ready to, you're currently in the Army. So your dad was a Marine gunny. You're currently in the Army. I'm going to get this. The question whether to go officer or enlisted, it went so fast. Come on, bear with me. From a retired gunnery to a retired, I thought it was still part of the same question. Here's my advice. So your dad is a gunnery sergeant. You're in the Army. What's your next move? Put it to you like this. My daughter joined. You guys met Sergeant Cece. She was going to go to college. She decided to enlist. Again, after being a lifer enlisted, I didn't feel any way about her wanting to enlist or become an officer. Actually, if you ask her, she'll tell you, I told her to go to college, get a degree, then decide. So if she does want to be an officer. And I still, to this day, want her to be an officer later in her career. She's lived with me, obviously her entire life, JRTC together. So she knows what the enlisted community is like. She knows knew a few officers prior to enlisting, still wanted to be enlisted, and then even in the Marine Corps. Maybe she'll chime in here shortly if she's not busy. but you need to do what's best for you. That was our final, my wife and I, our final advice to her. Whatever you choose, we're going to support you 100%. And we meant that wholeheartedly. Do I want it one day she better be a sergeant major or I'm going to think less of her? Absolutely not. Everyone's career is different. Everyone's life is different. And the reasons I want her to be an officer later, in full transparency, retirement, right? The retirement pay is that much better. So that'd be the only reason. But have that be your choice. Everyone enlisted on this channel, you have that option. Not difficult to go from enlisted to officer, but you can never go from officer into enlisted unless you go to a different service. Which there was a story recently. Was he an Army lieutenant and joined the Marine Corps to be enlisted? Or maybe I have it the other way around. That does happen, but not in the same service. You cannot. So Adam says, go officer, then make the Marine Corps pay for your school with TA. Yeah, make the Marine Corps pay for your tuition assistance, 100%. What I meant earlier, do you have any Marine and Army stories? Oh, yeah, so worked a lot with the Army. Unless your branch downsizes, that's a good point. Army stories, we mostly meet Army. We don't work together that often. I didn't in my career. There was a few opportunities. Alaska was a Army National Guard, so even a little different, a little less military than straight Army. And that was interesting. Our rank structure, although they're pretty much the same, E1 through E9, they have different responsibilities for different ranks. Like when they would use an E6, a staff sergeant, we would use a corporal or sometimes even a lance corporal, just because they're that much bigger and that they have that many more NCOs and staff NCOs. They call them senior NCOs. So I realized that with a lot of stories. We'd go on a patrol or we'd meet up somewhere, usually when we're flying in or out of countries to go fight. That's where we see mostly the Army. And I would notice their squad leaders are all staff sergeants and sergeant first class. E6 and E7s when our squad leaders are corporals and sergeants. So same responsibility, just lower rank, and then been in probably about the same amount of time. So promotion is a lot faster in the Army than the Marine Corps. But again, no cool stories. My Alaska time is the only time I spent a significant time with the Army. And that was pretty interesting because a lot of I was the camp commandant as a staff sergeant. Their camp commandant was a sergeant major. So trying to battle with him was pretty tough because he completely outranked me, but we had the same job title. So that was pretty tough to get used to. Luckily, there were a bunch of good old boys from Missouri, and they just had a great attitude about it. They didn't stay very long because it rained a lot, so they took off, and we ended up finishing the project. Any advice for a military hopeful? P.S. I love the videos. Thank you, Sophia. So any advice for military hopeful? Yeah, do it. That's my advice. Do it. Pick a branch. Know what you want to do with your life and go for it. Marine Corps it is. All right, I'm with Salty. John Daniel says, is Jocko Willink the real deal? Jocko. Good question. I'm not the authority on Jocko. I've watched many of his videos. I've been to one of his conferences. He was a real deal at the conference. It was motivating, great information, a lot of knowledge. I know there's some controversy about his background and his history and his stories. But basically, he's capitalizing off mistakes that he made in combat because he's sharing them. Accountability, if you want to call it, owning up to his mistakes. However you want to look at it, it has truly made him a millionaire or billionaire, wherever he's at now. So I think you would have to make up your mind on him yourself. Again, about the SEAL community. not a SEAL. Don't know enough about them. They're badasses. They do some crazy stuff, and they're tough guys. But I wouldn't be able to say, is he the real deal or not? Not the authority on Jocko. And I loved the conference, so it was great. Great. You know what was great about it too was all the people that went there. Not a bunch of alpha males and females, just badass warriors. So meeting all those people and talking story with them really was the motivating part. Learning some do's and don'ts. Here we go. Dang beast. I'm also a retired officer. I wanted to start brand providing clothing and improved weapons. Would you be a part of it? I'd love to talk to you about that, dang beast, if you're talking to me on that. Yes, I'm all about making the future of our services better, all branches of service. And then, of course, the transition out, 100%. How's the investigation going? He ain't doing no investigation. Let's hear it. Share something with us, Agent 16. All right, so back to the adversities that we're talking about. I started talking about what we're going to discuss now. And hold on, Young Ma has one more question. Definitely going to take advantage of the tuition assistance for college while I'm in the Marine Corps. I'm uncertain on what course might be the best. Any you'd recommend? Get your general studies first. Start your college degree. Get your associates on general studies. By then, you'll be able to choose what major you'd like to pursue after that. But definitely use it. Use it early. Use it often. If you're going to be infantry, all my infantrymen, you say, we don't have time. We're in the field way too much. You have time. With today's technology, now you have time. So no excuses. Get your degree and let the military pay for it. Don't wait and pay for it out of pocket. Do not do that. So adversities, again, friends and family members recently quit cold turkey. People that have drank their entire life. Again, I told you I had a buddy, civilian buddy, who drank his, who knows how long, whenever he started, but he's drinking every single day. He's now at day like 425 or something of being sober. Not easy, I can't imagine, especially when you're that reliant on it, you're that addicted. You know the hours it takes to become an expert at something? 10,000. So I think he and people become experts at it, right? But it's the bigger part, the harder part, the more mature part, the responsible part to realize, and it's usually by other family members that finally say, hey, kind of shake you up a little bit, enough. And then for you have the intestinal fortitude to actually realize, holy crap, you're right. And then go for it. So those of you in that position right now, I'm proud of you. Congratulations, and keep pushing. Never quit or give up on anything, right? And use your family members. Use your close friends. Use whatever you have to. Quit smoking, quit drinking. Drugs, of course, there's no drugs allowed in the military. 99% of the time, it's zero policy, zero tolerance policy. Sometimes some slip through the cracks somehow, some way. But take that as a sign from God, if you will. You haven't been kicked out. You haven't been in an accident. You haven't killed somebody or yourself. So those are all signs of God. Having a conversation with one of our community warriors earlier, we were remembered of, remember that old poster? This was before memes were even a thing. Footprints, right? 2 sets of footprints in the sand. That's you. That's Jesus walking next to you, helping you along the way. And then all of a sudden you see 1 set of footprints. And you're like, what the heck? Jesus, where'd you go? You left me. That's when times seemed the hardest, right? It's so bad that even Jesus left you because there's only 1 set of footprints. Wrong answer. Those 1 set of footprints are Jesus's. He's not walking alone. He's carrying you. So use that as a message to you when it gets that tough and 1 set of footprints disappear. That's because he is carrying you. So take advantage of that. recognize it and thrive in that and make it happen. All right. So again, any kind of adversity, any kind of issue that you have, fight it. Know yourself and seek self-improvement. You have to do it. You have to get over it. You have to make that first move. All right. That's it, Justice, because he was carrying you. You know that the famous actor Rob Riggle, it was awesome to know he was a Marine and became a top actor. He's pretty funny too. Rob Riggle is a Marine. Just got out a while ago. Never promised you a rose garden. Young Mao, keep that in mind. Thanks, brother. Go for it. Again, we'll be watching you. We'll be waiting for an update when you get back. That's a look at SFMF. Says, we like to believe that he was a top actor and became a Marine. All right. One Jelly Donut coming up. What's up, Bob? Good to see you, brother. 420 Network. Again, all you other channel owners out there, the rest of us, we want to support. So 420 Network, Michael's Drones, RCs and Knives. We haven't seen Matthew in a while. Matthew Askren with those delicious bacon wrapped stuffed chicken. Killed the rest of them the other night. Yes, I had two. I had a little more than my share, but I didn't want it to go to waste. And right back there, look over my right shoulder. That is my right. Yes. A&C Metalworks. Remember I opened it up or I showed it to you on Wednesday? There it is. Put it up. And again, he specifically told me make sure I have a light on it. When I turn that light on back there, it kind of bleeds out the photos or the picture right now. So it's off for now. But during the day, it's got some light on it, brother, and it is amazing. A&C Metalworks. Check them out. Awesome stuff. I have another personal order that I'm going to email to you. And that will go on the other side of the TV. I'm going to have to turn the camera so you can see the other side. So I'll have matching ones on both sides. But it's beautiful. Awesome. Nice work, brother. All right. There's a band back in the 80s called White Cross, the Christian band. I remember White Cross. Sing a song called You're Mine. I would encourage anyone going through a rough patch to go listen to that song. I remember White Cross. They were a long hair band too, right? Looked like any other heavy metal band. But they were a Christian band, Christian rock band. Very good. No More Chicken a la King. Sorry, Major. You know I love the Chicken a la King. My second favorite MRE. First one, anybody remember my very favorite MRE? And I could always get it because nobody liked it. Love the Chicken a la King. And twice as good heated. Man, when you have the time or the patience to heat it up, man, it was good. All the salt, all the pepper, everything you can put jelly in there, anything. Hoorah. Lay Cookie, thank you, brother. Jared's a metalhead. So yes, White Cross was heavy metal. That's right. Omelet with ham. That's right, Jared. Omelet with ham. The best MRE ever. The best. You had to mash it. I didn't know for the longest time. I just thought it was like a shaped like an omelet. But it's better when you mashed it. You kneaded it. Mashed it up, mixed it up. If you could ever get cheese didn't come with that meal for some odd reason, because that was the best part of the omelet with ham was putting that cheese in there. And then everything else and warm. And it is like nasty, and so I made you be nasty with this gross omelet. The omelet was a little, if it was too cold, it wasn't as tasty. But I'm telling you, heat it up, put some cheese in there, crackers too. You should mash the crackers up to like a fine dust. Pour them babies in there, a little Tabasco. Love them MREs. Crazy MREs now. How about anybody current right now? Tell us some of the names of the MREs they have now. Crazy, a little different than where you at, old Gyrene, Michael's Drones, them CRATs. This was well after CRATs. Didn't have heaters in my day. Old Lay Cookie. That's right. The heaters, the sleeve that you put in, pour a little water, that came out much later. So the only heaters we had back then, Lay Cookie, was the heat tab. And then you had to use your canteen cup, pour it in your canteen cup, and that's a whole different production. Now you're on a chef show. You got to do all kinds of stuff just to heat something up. And you always ran out of heat tabs. It's good for coffee, though. G Didsy's asking, word of advice for people who want to be civilian but prepared for a draft. People who want to be civilian but prepared for the draft. All right, good one, G Dizzy. Word of advice for people who want to be civilian but prepared for the draft. So you know for a fact you don't want to serve. And there's many of you. 1% serves. So everyone else supports us who serve. So if you find yourself being, so here's that's good. Here's what I would do. Stay on channels like this. See what we talk about, see how we live, see the camaraderie, the topics that we discuss, physical fitness, mental strength, all those things that we talk about. It needs to be in the back of your head somewhere, because if it does happen, you want to be more prepared than you are right now. So advice, I would say, again, in the back of your mind, be prepared in case that time ever happens. Just like with the survival packs that you have, those of you that are saving tons of rice, you have weapons and ammo, your vehicles are always full of gas, just all those preparations that you make in case something. That's like buying insurance, right? The insurance you pay on your car for decades and never use it. But you don't want to be caught without it. So prepare like you may have a chance to be drafted, right? So physically fit. Number one, I'll never stray away from that whatsoever, no matter what branch you're in. Physically fit. Mentally tough, that's on you. And that's when you sit with the warrior. The conversation's different. So the more times you can get in a community like this, the better off you'll be. So be ready. That's a great question. G Dizzy, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. That is great. Good. I mean, good looking out, because that's a real thing. Agent 61 says, I don't want to be drafted to join the military. Then that's when you go right down to your recruiter office right now and say, sign me up. I'm ready to go. This channel is live every Wednesday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. I encourage you to tune in those days. There's a lot to learn. I'm telling you, sit with warriors. The conversation's different. Everywhere. They've got us on a hold momentarily, Doc, but thank you for asking. What was the question? I missed it. Jared's 52, but if they recalled me, the Marine Corps better pack lunch, because I'm old, I'm tired, get off my lawn. Come pick me up, Jared. If they call you, you better come get me. Whether they called me or not, I'll hide out. I'll get on that bus. Read Mark Hankins, brother, good to see you. He says, read contract age for draft. Cutoff is 45. Bigger was 55. So there is a cutoff age for the draft. All right, Isaiah, here we go. Here we go. Isaiah, you're starting something right now. Which is better basic training for Marines, San Diego or Parris Island, South Carolina? Which is better? You tell us. Let's hear it. I don't want to be biased or anything. I don't want to give my opinion. I'm just thinking gigantic mountains that you have to hike up and down with the 80-pound pack day in and day out for 30 days straight. Sun bearing down on you. Winter freezing cold, or summer freezing cold in the winter, hiking on the beach, or the flatlands of Parris Island. It's up to you. San Diego. Bob says, stay off the lawn. Salty. San Diego. Where we at, Parris Island? Give me that good old Reaper. That's what I'm saying. Mount Mother, you know what? South Carolina has crocs and snakes too, says Justin. That's because personally don't know, but I live in California. So here's how it works officially, Isaiah. East of the Mississippi, you go to Parris Island. West of the Mississippi, you go to San Diego. And that's male and female now, because there's now a female recruits training in San Diego. So it depends on where you live. So if you're in California, you're going to sunny California. Make sure you bring your sunscreen, some sunglasses, because San Diego likes to hang out at the beach as well, and go to a couple Padre games. They both have their ups and downs. They both have their hardness and their easiness. It doesn't matter. Either one, as long as you're a Marine. Chesty said something like that. He's talking about new breed and old breed. New breed, old breed, it doesn't matter as long as it's the Marine breed. San Diego. Both got cold water. There you go. That's the way to look at it. Less humidity any day over in CMs. If civilians or FBI agents or police get drafted, we wouldn't know what to do. That's scary. You should be halfway already prepared if you're police or FBI. You need a little bit of physical fitness. I don't know. Not enough. Salty says, I'm right there with you. I was 33 years old, Marine vet. My show was on at 1800. Let's get this mission done quick, fast, and in a hurry, or there will be hell to pay. Where about, Isaiah? They issue Oakleys and Ray-Bans too. Yes, sir. San Diego. You got to have that sunscreen, sunglasses. I feel San Diego has decent weather. I think it does. It gets a lot colder than you would imagine in San Diego, those of you who've never been there. I think San Diego has pretty great weather year round. It gets cold enough for that hoodie, but that's if you're a civilian and don't have to sleep in the field. That's when you really know the temperature of a place that you're in. California has great weather, but I spent some pretty cold nights and mornings in Camp Pendleton, freezing my you-know-what off, because that's how cold it gets, and you don't have the luxury of just going in your house, right? Wrapping up in some blankets because you're out pretending to fight. You're doing some kind of mission. So it gets cold and rainy. So when you're exposed to the elements like that, you don't have the ability to go inside, because I can survive in Antarctica. Absolutely. Surviving in Antarctica as a Marine, when you're doing Marine training, is a little bit different. Same with heat. It can be 130 degrees, but if you're at home, you go inside, couple fans, couple ACs, and eat a popsicle. But if you're a Marine, you're out in those elements training as if it wasn't 130 degrees. So it's different. That's how you know the real weather of that geographic location that you happen to be in. But of the two, I've been to Parris Island a couple of times. Obviously, when my daughter graduated, never through a full cycle of boot camp. It is flat, but not a fan of them sand fleas. If they're as bad as people say, I wouldn't want anything to do with that. What do you got over there, producer? Okay. Even though they might be an enemy, they should be respected. You look like, all right. So, top of the hour. Here we go. Again, that always goes quick. Top of the hour. You know what time it is. Got my OG shirt on. Don't forget, shirts are still on. SFMF-merch.myshopify.com. OG shirts, stickers. Got a lot of comments on my shirt on Wednesday. You know that baby's a favorite, which, man, where did the shiny one go? I'll save the other one for last because it always brings me to another topic. This is one of the newer ones. All right, did a little poll on that. The newest. Love this one. There's a little shiny, good, solid SFMF. This little dude's pretty awesome. The old school cadence. Come on now, C-130. Sarn. I don't know where my stack of stickers of Sarn is to show you. But you know that one, all-time favorite. Boom. All indoor, outdoor stickers. Lasts forever. Whenever I show this one, I got to try not to get angry why we're letting hundreds of thousands of military-age males in America. saw a meme today or a post today on LinkedIn said you you cross the border, and I don't quote me on the country, cross the border in Iraq illegally, you get arrested, minimum whatever, 20 days in jail or 20 years in jail. You illegally cross the border in Afghanistan, you're sentenced to death. You cross the border illegally in America, you get food, water, credit card, cell phone, health care, place to stay. You displace people, veterans. That's the difference in our country. All right, San Diego, years get burned off your head in boot camp because they have never seen a light of day before that. Carlos, what's up, Doc? And welcome, Carlos. Can y'all make that skull sticker with the helmet sergeant insignia into other ranks? I'd love to buy it, but I was only a corporal. All right, Salty, great question. And I'm sure my producer told me to ask that a while ago, and I probably forgot. So great question, a great point, Salty. That's what we needed to know. Would that be, look, she's answering right there, in the works by popular demand. So if I hadn't asked that before, I'll do push-ups later. I'll pay for that. So yes, that was a question. And we were asking Sergeant Cece. Of course, she likes it now because she's a sergeant. So it makes sense. When she gets promoted, would she still use it? So we're going to have to adjust and make them of all ranks. Doc Holiday, did we catch you off guard? Saw you when we did our little test, and so far so good. I think we may have nailed it. Nobody has disturbed our session yet. Still got about an hour to go. All right. Also on the Shopify page, remember the Green Monster? Get them while they're hot. Love the Green Monster. Still have mine all the way back from corporal's course. Actually, when I went through, it was called NCO school, and it was corporals and sergeant in one school. Pretty interesting. The Made in America, Buy an American, veteran, right here at SFMF, all American made products, even the ring, the 550 cord, the dummy cord, the paracord, made with American hands. I didn't make these, but I need to learn how to do it. I like to give my assistance in supporting that. Did I miss anything? I think that's it. And hoodies, gonna get cold soon. So get them while they're hot or before it gets cold. And there, did I miss anything, producer, on the comments? Carlos, Lalamas. I know I'm not saying that right. My wife is former military sergeant, no ex-military, unless she got kicked out. Did she get kicked out? Former military. And if she's former military, as in the Marine Corps, she's a Marine. All ranks are important, but all ranks are important, different, but important. Amen. Speaking facts. Michael S., good to see you, brother. Agent 61, we're waiting for something interesting to tell us. What you got going on at the FBI? Nothing? Been cool over there? Work with the Secret Service at all? The U.S. Secret Service? All right, we talked about adversity, perseverance. How about the military family? Do we talk enough about them? Do we support them enough? Do we talk about what it takes to live as a dependent, right? And our producer as the ultimate trifecta. She was a dependent of a Navy chief, traveled all around the world. She married a Marine, I think for my money still. Moved all around the world. And then she raised a Marine. Tell me that ain't tough. To not only live with one, but then to raise one. So, toughest job out there, 100%. So, because the post I just did was, a short I just did was about male. And that came from McJunkin, one of his mothers of a Poolee, or now a recruit, was asking about male. She and her family had written all kinds of mail. She hadn't received any mail yet. So the families of the military member, yes, you have the hardest job, 100%. And congratulations to you for surviving it. Again, your producer has been in the military service her entire life. So here's the advice I'll give to you, and I know it's it was only 40 seconds, but the point I wanted to get across was continue to support your Marine or whatever branch of service that they're in, basic training. And knowing what I know now, I can tell you, as bad as you want mail, as bad as you want to hear from him or her, don't put any pressure on them to write you back. Know that they're being taken care of. They're busting their tail off. They're doing everything they can and are being told to do, so they don't have a whole lot of time. And as a drill instructor, I tell even my recruits, once you're done with everything you need to do for the next day, then you write a letter and say, Ma, Dad, please tell everyone I'm good to go. And boom, seal it and put it in the mail. That's it. Because there's so many other things that they need to be doing than writing to one to mom, one to dad, one to sister, one to brother, one to aunt, one to grandma, one to grandpa, one to nephew, niece. And every time you receive a different piece of mail from a different family member, you feel obligated to write back just to show your appreciation for them sending mail. But please understand that that's taking time away from them to prepare for the next day or the next couple of weeks. So be patient. Sandbox, we talked about a little bit. That's a great source. Makes it easier on them. You send, when they receive their Sandbox letter from you, they get a self-addressed stamped envelope so they can write quickly, put it in the mail, and it's gone. So that would help. But just, again, be patient with them and know that they're being taken care of. If something crazy happens, you will be notified, right? So know that they're doing well, maybe not happy and enjoying the day as much as we'd like to think they are, but they're doing what they need to do to survive basic training. So stick with it. Remember, producers got my back. Great advice. Send your recruit mail through with zero expectations to receive mail back. I can't stress it enough. I felt bad for that mother, John McJunk, and wait for you to come back on and see if you got any more questions, because that was a great one. The mother was worried, and you will be. And I want to tell you, easy to say, don't worry, they're fine. Our daughter went through, and I was worried every single day as well. But I knew back in the mind only because I had been there. If you have no knowledge of any of the military, the worst part is not knowing. But you gotta be calm and you gotta be patient. You can ask my parents. I made the initial phone call, and probably not again for about 2 months, 6 weeks. I got my second phone call. So I won Pugil sticks. And even that is a quick, down and dirty, Ma, hey, I miss you guys. Hope everything's great back there. I'm fine. They'll see you graduation day. So just know, try to be patient. Hurrah. Mark says, all branches already know who is the best without competition. It's not even close. Facts, Mark. We're very humble about it, though. David Jensen. Mama told me 11 years old. Mama told my 11-year-old daughter she's going to be a Marine like Papa. She smiles and says she'll be 18 soon. I explain, when you get out of college, how old are you going to be out of college? Damien, I'm joining the Army. I want to go to RASP. I don't remember what that is off the top of my head. And Ranger School. Any recommendations? Yes, first of all, friends don't let friends join the Army. Just kidding. Joking, not joking. But you want to go to RASP, tell us all what RASP is, RASP, and Ranger School. I think that's what most soldiers do, right? They all want to be Rangers. They want to get their Ranger tab. Sure, it's difficult, but I see a lot of Ranger tabs. And tell us what RASP is. And I'll tell you right off the bat, knowing very little about Ranger School, I'm going to tell you, make sure you're in shape. I'm positive that they thrash the crap out of you, so be physically fit and mentally tough. I'm sure it's some mental stress that they place on you as well. Damien has a great question. Is that the one I just read? about Army Rangers. Mark says, Damien, how old are you? Logan G, here's a good one. What is your opinion on Andrew Tate? A lot of young kids have asked me that. What do I think about Andrew Tate? And first and foremost, so many young teenage boys ask me about Andrew Tate that I got to believe he appeals to them, which young teenage boys don't always have the best judgment of people. So, and I haven't listened to enough of his stuff. I don't follow him. I know he's very opinionated, controversial. So no opinion on him whatsoever. Just again, when young teenage boys, oh, he's awesome. I have a feeling he's, again, directing his stuff towards that age group. So young boys like him, young people. I won't just say young boys. Not sure how females feel about it because it seems like he has a lot of controversial stuff about females. Don't know enough about him. Salty says, yeah, it's a question I just asked. So Damien, back to Damien, Ranger Assessment and Selection Program. And Mark, I'm 20 years old. So you're of age, Damien. I'm telling you, how big a boy are you? Are you ready to go? Physically and mentally. But can you do it? 100% absolutely. Anyone can be a ranger, a SEAL, a Marine sniper, Marine recon, MARSOC. All those things, they are some bad mo, you know what? So anybody can do it. You just got to train for it. Is everyone going to do it, or can everyone pass? Nope. They have attrition just like any other job. Excuse me. Logan G, you have earned my respect. I'll sub to you, and also you're jack as hell. Thanks, Logan. Appreciate you, brother. Trying to stay in shape. Can't talk about physical fitness if I'm out of shape, which I could probably stand to use a couple more gym sessions myself. Thanks, brother. Thanks for your support, though. Appreciate it. Ranger Assessment and Selection Program. Thanks, Jared. You're a little late on that one, buddy. We got that one. Damien, start running in boots. Great advice, Mark. Great advice. Running in boots, doing pull-ups in boots, doing leg lifts and flutter kicks, everything in boots. You'll be surprised how much a pair of 3-pound boots will change everything. And get your feet ready for it. Luckily, I got some Fred Flintstone feet. I can wear anything. I don't get blisters. I don't get tore up. Toenails don't, well, they have fallen off before. But be prepared, physically and mentally. Adam E says he had a Marine officer that went to Ranger school. I think we did too. Laceby, he had a Ranger tab. Couldn't wear it on his Marine uniform. We don't wear all that junk all over our uniforms, but he had a Ranger tab. Awesome platoon commander, Company XO, and 5th Marines era. Right there, PHW. Running boots on the beach, ankle weights. Jared, I'm a Ranger, a Reebok Ranger. Get some, Jared. I said, my nephew in the Navy is getting deployed next month, but he's in the Navy. He's been in for a year. I know all military knows that feeling. I wish him the best, as we do as well. We wish him the best. He's in the Navy, he'll be on ship, a little different experience deploying. When you're in the Navy, you live on the ship. That's your home. So you're taking your apartment to whatever country you're going in. Your work is on ship. That's the difference about being a Marine on ship and the Navy being on ship. They live on the ship. So they have most of their, not household goods. They don't have apartments on there and their comfort creatures, right? All the stuff that they love, but they are a little more comfortable. Marines get on ship and you got a coffin rack, if you're lucky, or just a canvas rack, and you're just temporary. So it is different. But 3 hots in a cot, baby. Actually, on Navy ships, you get 4 hots in a cot. But you're working constantly. Marines on ship are relaxing, waiting to get to where we got to go and focus there. Matthew Ashker, there you are. Everyone who hasn't smashed the like button, thanks, Matthew. Appreciate you, brother. You missed it earlier. We're talking about that bacon-wrapped stuffed chicken. I killed it all. I shared it with my family. We got a lag on my end. We're storming here in Arizona. Uh-oh. The Navy was hardest working. Yes, on ship, because that's where Marines work out and sleep, play cards. My former commanding officer, Colonel Jim Raleigh, it looks like, went through Ranger School as a major. All right, can. Another agent on here, sup. Unless you're on mess duty on ship, you get worked. All right. Hey from, and I can't see what that emoji is, Stephen Knight. All right. A lot of great stuff as usual. You guys are awesome. Amazing community of like-minded warriors. All right. I want to tell you about a movie I just saw. Going to bed late already anyway. I like noise when I go to sleep, so I have to have music on or the TV on, even a light on here and there. That's just how I sleep. But as I was flipping through Netflix, I saw a movie that said Inspection was the name of the title of the movie, and had a couple of Marine drill instructors on there. I don't remember. I only recognized one actor, so I knew right away it was a B-rated film. More likely, I had never heard of it. And not that I've heard of all Marine movies, but this one was about Marines in boot camp, and I read the little title. It was about a guy who grew up in the hood. He was homosexual, and his mother had kind of disowned him, so he had a real tough childhood, living on the streets. So he decided to join the Marine Corps. Figured he could find family in the Marine Corps and start his new life. Wasn't as interested in the story as I was seeing the drill instructor part, the boot camp part. And this was by far the worst impression. I don't know what the right word is, worst display of Marine Corps boot camp. These guys were, the acting was terrible. Whoever the military advisor was horrible. I don't think he was probably a Marine, but he definitely wasn't a drill instructor. Maybe a recruit had gone through, because they had a lot of the terminology, right, and things drill instructors said, and they try to find a little humor in it and the toughness of it and how hard and mean drill instructors are. But just the acting was horrific. I don't remember the story behind it, but it was just that kid from the hood, hard time, hard life, and found camaraderie in the Marine Corps. But I fell asleep and didn't watch the end, so you don't have to watch it to find out what happened. Pretty sure there's probably a great ending. He became an awesome Marine. I don't know, and I don't know if I'll waste time to watch the end of it. But just goes to show you, again, the movies, and we've had shorts on it. We've talked about it before. What are some good military movies? What are some that are very accurate? Again, we can speak on the Marine ones, just like cops can speak on the cops one. We'd never do that. I can't believe they do. Doctors, I'm sure any kind of profession that they do a movie about, Hollywood gets involved, and they want ratings, right? Money-driven people want to make it so more people watch. And it's usually the ones who are never, you ask civilians, what is the best war movie? And they'll pick theirs based on what they imagine war is like. But ask a soldier what he thinks of an Army combat movie or a Marine about a Marine combat movie. You're going to get a different story. So a little disturbing after watching that movie, because you want it to be good. You want it to be as close to accurate as possible. And some are. You know how I feel about Jarhead, the movie Jarhead. Terrible movie, not terrible, but just not a lot of action, not a bunch of fluff, not a bunch of Hollywood looking for ratings, but it was very accurate for Desert Storm. Few Good Men, no combat in it, but does give you a great depiction of the camaraderie and the brotherhood of Marine Corps, the fanatical part of being a Marine. So there's never a movie that's, I believe, 100% accurate, and that's all of them. That's all professions, all movies, Navy movies. I'm sure any the pilot movies, unless it's, even when it's based on a true story. What was that? There's that one movie about a female Marine became a dog handler, and then she got blown up. They all lived. Her and the dog saved so many lives by finding bombs. And then she got out, and then they retired the dog, and she wanted to owned the dog, and there's some controversy about that. And it was based on a true story. Just again, once again, the acting and whoever the military advisor is was either on it and got shut down on a few areas, or just wasn't on it. One of the two. So interesting, some of these military advisors, when they do the military movies, just like police movies, whoever the police advisor is, got to be good. PH Dub says, the Pacific depicts real experiences of true Marine heroes. I like the Pacific. Still haven't finished the whole series, but I feel that one's probably pretty accurate. So Mark Haken says, Isaiah, that's pretty accurate, probably accurate, but serving in the infantry in beginning is a great foundation. Different topic. Explain the difference between a weak-minded person and a person with mental strength. That's for Matt Escobar. Because we know, we talked about it, mentally tough, right? Not just boot camp, but in the combat. You have to be physically fit, but mentally tough. And how do you prepare for that? Agent 206, how old are you? Are we getting another young kids? We got a bunch of young ones on here. All right, any saved rounds on those two topics? Alcoholism, drugs, smokers, accountability, holding yourself accountable, knowing yourself, seek self-improvement. How about dependence? The job of a dependent, how tough is that? Do we know? And we have the month of the military child. That's a whole month we dedicate to them. Should be year-round. We talk about even Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Why is it only one day? Should be year-round. A lot of World War II showed real combat. The movie World War II. I think so too. Why not pursue civilian law enforcement? You're too old for FBI. For those of you struggling with thoughts of suicide after service, reach out. There's help and people willing to help. You aren't weak for seeking help. Couldn't have said it better myself, Salty. And I remember again, as a young Marine, you were supposed to keep it hush hush. You don't talk about suicide to people. I think they realized after years, maybe a few suicide attempts, that, hey, this is not working. We need to discuss it. You need to be strong and be able to talk about it. And again, as a young Marine stationed in Hawaii, I remember at one point it was a big deal because a sergeant major confessed openly to having suicidal thoughts. And I was like, oh my God, sergeant major. And not that I don't know what the ulterior motive was, but him talking about it, him taking it to the streets, him being open about it, really changed the way we looked at suicide ideation, SI, and the fact that it is better to talk about it, and it is better to provide help more ways than one, in any way possible. And I think it was a huge turning point that did help a lot. I think personally where the problem is those are Marines in the service where they have all that stuff at their fingertips, and it's kind of even pushed to them because it is talked about so much. It's when they transition out, when your toughness has to get even tougher, and say, because even though I'm a big badass Marine and I do all these combat deployments, and I don't need no help from anybody else, I don't need no handouts, that's when your toughness needs to come out the most, and say, you know what? I do need help. I don't got this. I'm not fine, right? That's the worst thing that you can hear someone say when you're asking how you're doing. I'm fine. It doesn't mean I'm fine. This sergeant major that came out, he didn't come out on his own. He didn't realize how strong he needed to be. It was, of course, his wife who saw a change in him, who saw him become a different person at home when nobody else sees him. At work, he was a sergeant major and made it happen. Awesome sergeant major. But it was after the part that us Marines didn't see. We didn't see the other side of him. And as much as his wife wanted to understand where he is coming from, even those closest to you don't know the thoughts in your head. Nobody does. You can have a therapist for years. You can have a psychiatrist for years and talk to them once a week, once a month, twice a month, whatever your situation is. Nothing's going to get better until you're completely open and honest with that individual. Toughness. It takes toughness to do it. And Salty said it. You're not weak if you ask for help. You're even stronger if you ask for help, because it doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone around you, right? And everyone has a different thought policy on suicide, but you can't say it any better than it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. You can't get over it. That's the time, again, when you see one set of footprints in the sand. That's God carrying you. That's Jesus saying, I got you. Hang on tight. The road's going to get bumpy, but I'm not going to let you go. Until you see two sets of footprints again, that's when you got this on your own. So appreciate you, Salty. That's awesome. And we have talked, and it is something that does need to be talked about. Again, I don't know when and who and how. Somebody realized they had that working group. You know, I always talk about that working group. Who do they have in that working group? People that live it every single day, or people that sit on the outside and decide what's best for them living it every day. And told y'all, it's a problem I'm dealing with now. Find out from the ones that it affects directly. That's where you get the best information from. Not what you think they need, not what you observed, not what worked 10, 20, 30 years ago. What is working now? So get the ones who it affects directly, and then come up with the solution. Get them in on the conversation. Have those board meetings, right? Lake Cookie talked about the board meetings I have. It's a pun I use for when I go surfing. That's a board meeting. But a lot of stuff gets taken care of. They say most business deals, the biggest business deals are made on the golf course. So yeah, you're going golfing with some buddies, but you're also working constantly. That's when stuff comes out. That's when some of my best meetings have happened. At the beach, on the way to surf, at a board meeting. Golf. I don't know where else. What does anyone else do at those times? Always talking about it. Doc says, we men always fight with our inner demons, but we have to kick their butt daily and introduce ourselves. Me too. Look at Rig Reynolds. So I look up to you, Salty. I do too. Carl, Veteran Crisis Line in USA. Help available 24/7. Dial 988, then press 1. Multiple avenues of help. Never stop, never quit, never give up. That's something else. Are you a quitter? We're not. Proven. So make sure you make that phone call when needed, right? Don't wait until it's too late. Emotional vulnerability can save your life. Refusing to accept your pain can be deadly, says Mark Angans. Amen, Doc. So much truth. I appreciate it, but I'm no one to look up to. Just remember there are resources, but it always takes work to get away from thinking about suicide. Tom Haskell. David Bryan, try to get Tom Haskell to tune in, but he can't stay awake long enough. Tom Haskell. Haskell. Do I know Haskell? Masson Haskell. So again, here's one of the indications. I had a buddy, a fellow Marine, who just gave me a business card one day, just after I retired, and said, "Hey, if you ever have bad thoughts, suicide, or PTSD or anything, just give this lady a call." And of course, I looked at it, accepted it, and tossed it in my desk drawer, and never even thought twice about it. I don't need that. That's for weak people. That was a huge misconception that I had. Like Salty said, it takes a powerful dude to realize you need help. But one day I did call that number. Months later, expecting to hear something like, "So how does that make you feel?" It wasn't like that at all. These are trained professionals. I did have another misconception that whoever I was talking to had to have been there, man. What do you know about it? You've never been there. I had that misconception. And this lady did not. She didn't serve. She was a civilian. She got a degree, went to college, had, I'm guessing, a nice lifestyle, but she just had it in her heart to serve and to help. So it took me a little bit to get over that the person I'm talking to and getting ready to spill my guts to doesn't have to have been there, right? They're trained professionals. And I've talked to both. Ones who have had the experience and ones who haven't. So it's all that individual. And here's what I'll tell you with that is you got to decide who the right person is for you to talk to. But talk to multiple until you find that one. Again, never quit or give up. There's someone out there that will help you, that can help you. You got to relate. You got to be open-minded. Talked to a counselor for a year or longer before one day I finally told him, I said, you know what, brother, I got to tell you, I haven't really been open with you. I haven't told you everything. He said, I know. I said, what do you mean, you know? Why would you let me sit here and not tell you the whole truth for so long? He said, I knew this day would come as well. I know there'd be a day finally when you realize, bro, I got to tell this guy. I'm not getting the help I needed because I'm fighting it. I put up that barrier where I only told him what I thought he wanted to hear. Wrong answer. Be open-minded. Let the help come to you. Carl Green, good on you for including those crucial details to reach out. Amen. I missed it. If somebody wouldn't mind putting that back up. Carl, put that back up, please. Here I'm Biffin. I'm good to see you, brother. I may not be glad, but I'm thankful I gave up, if that's what someone calls it. Wanted to join the military or else I'd be doing some hard time. Go to war or go to jail? Hear him? Is that what you're talking about? Jake Awesome, currently getting the help I need. Amen, brother. Good on you. Jake Awesome, Texas. Is that help successful so far? Excuse me. Semper Fi, Rodney. Carl, if you could put that back up, what you were talking about. You want to, I may have told this story before as well. I was getting my hearing checked one more time. My hearing's horrible. You can ask my wife. My right ear is gone. I'm a right-handed, multiple times shooting without hearing protection. Back me up. You don't always have time to put your hearing protection in. If you're on patrols at night where noise is of essence, you can't have earplugs in, you can't hear anything. You got to be able to hear everything. So there's been multiple times that I fired many times with that. And then you're deaf for a while. Right now I got ringing in my ear. So I have tinnitus, but it's even a little worse than that. So I was getting it like reevaluated one time when I was going through my disability stuff. And the woman looking through my chart says, wait a minute. You're at like 20% disabled. You have this many combat deployments. You've been over here. You've been with infantry units, and multiple times your hearing has gone down 3 or 4 times. Something's not right with your package. So I'm a spouse of an Army colonel. He's had multiple deployments as well, and he is jacked up. Do your knees hurt? She asked me. I said, yeah, all the time. She said, there's nothing in here about your knees. What about your back? I said, yeah, back. It takes me an hour to wake up in the morning. She's like, your neck, all these things that she was saying that, yes, I have problem with all those, but yeah, I don't want to seem like a punk. I'm a Marine. I'm tough. I don't need any kind of extra help. Point being is you have to ask for the help that you need. Tell everybody this all the time. When you join the service, when you join the military, they're not going to take you if you have an ailment that's going to hinder you in your performance of duties. They won't take you. So when you get out, why wouldn't you want to be that same 100%? Well, they want you to. You're not going to be the same 100%, but they're going to help take care of you after. So talk about it. Talk about your problems. Let everyone know. Motoro says, I noticed fighting gets saluted by our Marines slowly. Fighting? Am I missing something? I noticed Biden gets saluted slowly by the Marines. Carlos says, just to relive it and obstruct so many other organizations. Red Elias says, Jesus is the Son of God. Amen. Red Elias. Amen to that, brother, and God bless you. That's a fact. Jesus is the Son of God. Christian Mattis. Hello from Kansas, Devil Dog. Well, hello there from Kansas, Christian. Good to have you on board, brother. Avoid negativity at all costs. Jake. Yes, I believe that is awesome advice. Avoid negativity. You decide what kind of day you're going to have that day. When you wake up in the morning, if you wake up, you know how I feel about Mondays. Those of you who wake up Monday morning and say, oh, God, it's Monday morning. It's going to be a terrible day. Well, it is now. You make the day the kind of day you want it to be. Salty says there are numerous veteran service organizations, VSOs, in every state. Contact your nearest VSO to begin getting help, whether it be mental or physical. There is all kinds of VSOs. We all know, again, maybe my age group, I think of a VSO and I think of the Marine Corps League, VFW, and I've been to those. I've been members of them. And it seemed to be the bunch of old guys complaining about the service. Not a lot of productivity going on. They try to do car washes and maybe bake sales, try to raise money to have functions, to have a mess night or celebrate the Marine Corps birthday. But that generation they need young blood in there. That's why there is new organizations, red, white, blue. And if you know some, put them in the comments. That is a different era of veteran. So, and everybody wants to start one, and they're all good people, all good veterans, and all good patriots that want to continue to serve. But we have to find equally, like what we're trying to do here in this community, is build that foundation of continuing to serve. Help people transition from the military service to the civilian service. Biggest problem right now in America, if you ask me. So how do we come together and make it a successful transition? VSOs, those veteran service organizations, and get after it, right? Kind of try to do what you can, do your part to help someone out. All right, what'd you like best about Marine Corps League and American Legion? I've been thinking about Marine Corps League solely for the purpose that I'm only around other Marines. That's why I joined the Marine Corps League as well, because only Marines can join the Marine Corps League and Navy corpsmen and chaplains. So, yes, being around like-minded people solely with Marines, same language. I loved it. Again, but there needs to be something. I think right now, personally, that there's too many smaller organizations trying to do the same thing. So somehow we can get together. That's what the VFW tried to do. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, of all branches of service. But each service now has their own, and the other ones all try to do, again, the same thing on a smaller scale. Here's where it gets difficult if you live in the sticks of somewhere that doesn't have a lot of choices. Places like Hawaii, you have all the services right there, all the branches, all the VSOs, everyone's close, but everyone had their own separate little organization. So what did I like about the Marine Corps League? Yeah, being surrounded by Marines, of course. VFW, I like because you were surrounded by veterans of foreign wars. So you're going to go where you have a like-minded community. Right? I say it all the time. Sit with warriors because the conversation is different. You have shared experiences. You can carry on conversations about the same kind of stuff, and you have the same background in it. So pick the organization that suits you, but bring something to the table, right? Don't join in and be another one in the back drinking your beer, just complaining about stuff. Let's help make it better. Find ways, try to infiltrate it and make it what it needs to be. Our older generation, World War II vets, or you can probably count them on your hand. I don't know how many are left, but I'm guessing about a dozen because they got to be in their 90s. Vietnam veterans, Again, they're getting as time goes, they're getting older as well. Now it's the Desert Storm kind of era. More OIF and OEF veterans are starting these organizations where they do hikes and they do runs and they do Veterans Day. They have Thanksgiving runs. They do all these things to keep those like-minded people together to help each other. So, man, huge soapbox I just got on about VSOs, but I concur with them 100%, and I think they're necessary. So support when and where you can. Kevin says, what was your MOS? I was a Marine. That was my MOS. Started out as a 1371 combat engineer. Take it back. Those of you remember our story, enlisted as an 03. In boot camp, I had an opportunity to change my MOS. I didn't know one MOS from the other. So when I was approached by a Marine on the phone as a recruit, I got to talk to a Marine besides my drone instructor, and he fired me up and said, you want to be an engineer? You want to blow stuff up? I said, yes, sir. And I loved it. 1371, backbone of the Corps. Loved it. Desert Storm, I was an engineer, Somalia engineer. So we built, constructed obstacles and bunkers and defensive positions and blew up obstacles and defensive positions. So it was fun. Drone instructor, yes. Mark was another one of my MOSs. 8511, they changed it to 0911. Combat water instructor, yes, that's an additional MOS. I was a Mike 7 Alpha, mountain leader, and then as a first sergeant and sergeant major, 8999, used to be 9999. They changed that. So all over, it was all over the place. That's what I loved best about my career. Never stuck on one job for 30 years. I like to have the freedom to move around. Anderson Ho, good to see you, brother, dropping in for motivation and inspiration. We are motivated and inspired now that you're here, brother. Good to see you. Open contract, Corps made me an MP, says David Bryant. That's crazy going in as open contract. It's also motivating. You want to join the Marine Corps to be a Marine. The needs of the Corps, that's where you're going. Yep, a bunch of World War II and then vets complaining and throwing insults. That's really, Jared, I'm telling you, that's a feel I got for some of the VSOs I was associated with. So it's up to us young guys, to go in and change that era of just sitting around complaining. Let's do something about it. Christian, Mattia, 0311, E4 Mafia era. Jason Mulligan, Trump train, toot toot. Let's go. Dang, your old school black boot camp Marine. Era. Jesus does save. Maury. Amen. Adam E says, I think I went open contract too, and I've had the most unique and best experiences ever. What were your MOSs, Adam? Kevin, you're right. Change happens with us. I'm telling you, good. You lost me for a second there, but I'm telling you, we got to be the ones that make the change. We got to be the ones that get in those organizations and make them a success. Again, I've been attached to quite a few, even Army program, US, what's the Army? They got a great program, and it's big, and a lot of soldiers assigned to it. I don't know much about the Air Force or the other branches of service, but those guys are in the VFW. So let's get in there, our era, and make some changes. Jason Mulligan says, do I hunt? Yes. Now I hunt animals. Before it was bad people. Now it's animals. And I'm a rookie at hunting animals, but I absolutely love it. And I think a lot of Marine training kind of plays over as have a couple kills, some deer, and I absolutely love it. I love everything about it. I need to do it more now. Daniel Griffin, I live the positivity here. I love the possibility here. 1% better every day. 0311 37 Kilo. Love 7th Marines. OIF 1. Keep it up, Sergeant Major. Follow all your videos. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Awesome. Thanks for being here. See you Wednesday. Wednesday 1900. Wednesday at 1900. Awesome, Daniel. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Black Boot Marine. I'm old. Went in 97. You ain't that old. That's not old at all. But yes, love the black boots. Love spit shining them. Okinawa had Papasan. Yes, I cheated the system, had Papasan shine my boots. But I loved, again, that was a good time to reflect. Ironing camis and polishing boots. Asked my wife, again, bust out the ironing board, which actually was a mistake because I became the ironer of all of our clothes. But I did. I like that solidarity time, shining boots, right? Ironing camis, just something about it that kind of got you ready for the week. I remember pressing my camis at 2:30 in the morning just to be ready to mess it all up in the morning. Yes, it was. That's why those hot, humid days in Okinawa, Hawaii, right, it would mess up those starched camis that you spent all night pressing. And then just to go to work and do the obstacle course. 0621. Adam, that's calm, right? 2-1 deployed on EMU. Love the EMU. And I missed the rest of it. It went up way too fast. Yes. KK, cool. Yes, she told me to do it myself. Yes, my wife. I might have asked her a few times to press out my camis. Kevin, you're in the right channel. Look at Hypnotoad. Pogue. Yeah. Personnel other than grunts. Yes. Let a grunt try to go anywhere without some pogues. Never happened. Love the pogues. Yep. 0311 E4 Mafia. Breeze says, dude, I want to join the Army, but I can't because I have autism and ADHD. What do I do? Wow. You got to see a recruiter, brother. Breezy, see what they can do for you. MEPS is where you're gonna stop. Get stopped. Cool says, man, right now active war fields are 4 of the 7, but 3 are private wars, Middle East. There's wars going all over the place all the time. If you're lucky enough, you'll go get to participate and help if that's what you're meant to do, if that's what you choose to do. All up to you. Hey, Jay, good question right there. Look at that one. How long did it take to stop using the knife hand? I shared one time, I don't think I used the knife hand as much as everyone thinks that Marines, especially Marine drill instructors, use a knife hand, because that's what you see in movies and stuff. A lot of them do use it. During my time as a DI, we were told not to use it because you tend to get too close and you start hitting people. It's using just one finger, not to that. So I got in this habit right here. Well, I'm telling you, dude, you better do some freaking. I'm going to thrash you. Just get outside right now. And it turned it out. It was kind of funny when somebody pointed it out later, but that's something that just happens. The knife hand using when I'm explaining something, but not for the butt chewing. Mark Hankins bringing it back right there. Ironing t-shirts and boxers for inspection. Socks too. Don't forget, you got to iron everything. I'm so glad they got rid of the CGs and IG inspections. That was such a waste of time, money, effort, resources. God, that wasted so much. And then by the time you figure it out, that's when you have your inspection stuff, right? But it takes years of IG inspections and pre-IG inspections and company commander inspection, battalion commander inspections. You have all these shirts and t-shirts and socks and underwear that you never, ever wear or use. Boots that just sits in the closet waiting for an inspection. So glad somebody, again, who did they have in that inspection team when they came up with that? I got a great idea. Let's inspect these guys once a year, have the commanding general come out and look at all their stuff. Not a bad idea because you want to make sure your Marines are ready to go fight. But then it turned into a dog and pony show where someone thought, wow, if they see these nice, clean, pressed out underwear that have never been worn, that's what they want to see. At a CG, one time we had a kid, funny, interesting story, and maybe right around the time that it changed. We had a young Marine named Ng, NG. That was his whole name. Little ball of fire. Loved to do everything, great at PT. Wasn't the brightest though. During all of our pre-inspections, he was somewhere. Just slipped through the cracks. Never really got a great look at his gear. The day of the CG inspection, someone finally looked at his gear, and it was trashed. It wasn't folded neatly. It wasn't pressed. It wasn't marked correctly. Right? Remember how many times you had to mark something because of where your platoon sergeant wanted it, not what the manual said, where he wanted it. Uniformity, kinda. So anyhow, company commander's like, too bad, he's here. He will be inspected. We have to have 100% accountability for inspection. So there's Ing at the last minute pulling out his stuff, and we're like, please, the CG is not going to look at the entire company. Hopefully Ing is not one of them. Sure enough, and it's actual junk on the bunk. So he goes in this room. The Marine, his roommate, was squared away. Irish painted it on his canteen covers and painted all the buttons black. I'm telling you, nothing but wasted time. I'm not looking at the comments right now, but those you know how much time we wasted. He looked at Ing's gear and said, holy crap, son. Is this your gear? Yes, sir. Motivated as hell. Socks, like one stretched out a little longer than the other one. T-shirts that have been worn. Boots look like they've been on a few hikes in the mud. The general's like, put those boots on. Are those your boots? Yes, sir. Put them on. Boom. Are they comfortable? Yes, sir. Could you go on a hike right now? Yes, sir. Call the other Marine. Put those boots on. Those your boots? Yes, sir. Those are brand new boots, son. Yes, sir. How'd you like to go on a 26-mile hike in those boots right now? The Marine's like, oh, no, sir. I'd like to break them in first. So you're not ready for combat. This young man, Ing, is. Look at his camis. Again, it looked like a mess. It could have been cleaned up a little more. And the CG stopped the inspection, called the company commander, first sergeant, called the battalion commander over and said, look at this young man right here. Ing is his name. This is the best set of gear I've seen this entire inspection. This Marine is ready to go to combat right now. He knows his stuff fits. He knows it's broken in. He knows how to wear it properly. Could use a wash maybe here and there. It's marked. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. This kid has got to figure it out. Amazing. Again, I don't know if that has anything to do with how things changed after that, but that's what a good CG is going to want to see. Are you ready to go to combat right now? Here's what happens too in the CGIGs. Once one room gets inspected, the room next to them is missing something. So they find a way to sneak that helmet over and put it on this kid's rack so he passes as well. It had taken on a whole new aspect of being combat ready. That's why it wasn't what it was intended for, to make sure a unit is combat ready. But we spent so much time putting on a dog and pony that we weren't really showing our combat readiness. So glad it changed. We had a Marine named Hannum. I won't tell you what his nickname was, but he was one of the ones. I brought up the helmet because he was missing his helmet. And during inspection, he just got the next Marine that already been inspected, put his helmet on his junk on the bunk. And the CG looked at Hannum, looked at the helmet, looked at Hannum, said, is that your helmet? He said, yes, sir. He said, go ahead and put that on for me. And I'm telling you, I don't have anything to display it, but this helmet sat on top of his head. No way in hell it was his helmet. Granted, Hannum had kind of a big head. But the point being, not ready for combat. All right. So, Dave Bryant, when you're in garrison, that's how it was. And again, that's just how it was. Christian, bring back the BDUs and black boots. I did truly love the black boots. Old style camis. I like the new camis. A lot more comfortable. And again, not wasting so much time pressing them out. They already got that crease in it. As long as after you wash them, you shake them out, I still iron mine. Just not as intense and not with starch and trying to get that crease in them. But keeping them clean is all you need to do. Heavy J, how do you feel about strategically transporting equipment to alternative locations? Strategically transporting equipment to alternative locations. I think it's a great idea. So are you talking about something specific. Carl Green, 10 minutes. Thank you, brother. Lay Cookie, huge head he had. Yes. Hannum with the big head is what his nickname was. He did have a big head. And we used to beg him, if we ever get in a fight, Hannum, just please don't headbutt me. Just whatever you do, punch me, kick me, don't headbutt me. But Heavy J, how do I feel about strategically transporting equipment to alternative locations? I think we do that now already, don't we? MPS ships. Anyone know what an MPS ship is? Those are ships sitting off the coast somewhere with a bunch of equipment in it, in case we need it, in case we strategically need it at a location that it's not. So I think we're already doing that, if that's what you're talking about. Salty, can you touch on young people who may be looking for a role model, possibly military, who may help them make better decisions for their future? Great question, Salty. And here's what I have to say about that. When people ask me, I'm trying to get the question all the time, should I enlist or become an officer? Again, biased to my career, but 100% of the time, I advise them to find officers, find Marines of different rank. If you're a female, talk to a female Marine. If you talk to both, just get as much information from as many different people as possible and find what fits you the best. Finding that individual mentor, I think that'll happen in that process. I'm talking to a female. My daughter and I went to hear a ROTC brief the other day, last month, and there was a cadet there from an ROTC program. She was under the Minuteman scholarship program. One of her tasks while a cadet was to go talk to every single department in that school and ask questions. And she said, what kind of questions? He said, that's your task. So she said the first couple of times she went in there, notebook in hand and pen and pencil or paper, and she didn't know what to ask. But as she was going through it, questions were coming up. How do you start your day? What are your processes? What, at the end of the day, do you take your work home? Just all kinds of questions that started to come to play. Turns out in that process, in every department, from the mailroom to the CO's office, she had to come up with questions on her own. And she said, she was telling the crowd this, it turned into, I wasn't doing it as a project anymore. I was doing it because I was curious and I was looking for my future, where I wanted to go. So that helped. And it also built her confidence up. She says she was very, very timid and shy. Didn't even, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't want to bother you, but I just turned into, good morning, sir. My name is Cadet so-and-so, and I have a few questions for you if you got time. And she had nothing but positive things to say about it. And it turns out the CG's aide became her mentor. And that's what she wanted to do at one time in her career. Just her first year as a cadet, but working her way up. So great point, Salty, you said about finding a mentor and ask those questions. You don't know, it's a cliche, but you don't know what you don't know. And that's what a lot of us get into, how we get into trouble. How we get into the trouble we get into from the transition from military to civilian. I didn't know what questions to ask. I just didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know about disability, about VA home loans, about where am I going to work? Or how am I going to not find new friends, right? Living conditions, where my family's going to work and go to school. So those are questions that a mentor can certainly help you with. All right. Man, I thought cool was being cool. No, not so much. Lets her learn the SOP of individual units and how they operate. I'm telling you, she had nothing but positive things. She hated the assignment at first because of her lack of confidence, but it quickly, and by the way, of doing all that just built her confidence. Now she was speaking, a one-year cadet was speaking to all the superintendents of school districts of all across of the West Coast, from the head of JRTC, an ambassador of ROTC College. She was speaking on behalf of them. And that was the first thing she said. She said, look, I'm nervous, but not as nervous as I would have been a year ago. She said, a year ago, I would not have been able to stand up here and speak to this many superintendents. She killed it. There are no stupid questions. Who's got a question? Heavy J. Jerry, there are really no dumb questions if asked legitimately. You rag on people for what they do not know. Relax and listen. Yes, you're having fun over there in the comments. But are there such thing as a dumb question? That's what people like to say. There is no such thing as a dumb question. It is when the intent is to make it a dumb question. So as long as it is a legit question and how you ask it, there's no dumb questions because somebody else probably has that same question. It's just your, again, your delivery probably has a lot to do with it. And why are you asking? What's your intent? Thank you guys for clearing that up. Time for recap, wrap up. Thanks, Carl. Always on it, brother. I believe there are dumb people with a question. That's Heavy J. There are dumb people with questions, but are their questions dumb? All right, right there, a reminder from our producer who killed it. We stayed on. We didn't get kicked off. I'm okay. I don't need a corpsman. Everything worked out. I think we got it figured out between my production team. We didn't get interrupted. I still got a full battery charge. Awesome. I think we might have gotten it down. We might have nailed it. Where's Big O? Big O was getting on me about being kicked off again also. To get our merch, check out the merch. Check out the merch. See if you like anything on there. Go ahead and order up. We are back in our production stage, SFMF-merch.myshopify.com. Share with your friends and neighbors. Any holidays coming up? Start getting it out for Christmas. Is it too early for that? Appreciate everyone always being here, working with us, supporting us. This is a community of warriors with like minds. Sit with warriors. The communication, the conversation's different, but appreciate every one of you. We'll keep this up. Today is Sunday. God bless you all. Spend time with Jesus if you haven't already. Keep the faith. Remember them 2 sets of footprints. Continue to strive, not just survive. We're talking about striving. Make this week an amazing one. We'll see you on Wednesday. Never too early to prep. Make ready for the motto is all mine. Production team, get some. Yes, Doc, thank you, brother. They are amazing, keeping me above water, without a doubt. God bless you all. So, Major, have you trained any mixed martial arts? Jerry, where are you going to end with that? Yes, 1 back, 2 back. Remember old combat hits? And then the McMap, Marine Corps Martial Arts, did that, worked up to a black belt. I have trained 3 or 4 times with my daughter and her husband, who are jiu-jitsu blue belts, right? If I got that correctly. And yes, got my butt handed to me. So I get impatient, right? I want to make stuff happen now. I don't have the patience. I want to strike fast and strike hard. But jiu-jitsu is a different ball game. It is some intense concentration of martial arts. But I loved it. Love everything about it. I want to get into it a whole lot more while I still can, while I can still move. But be safe, be aggressive, but be safe out there. Grab, twist, and pull. Yes, that was the old school training. Thank you and the production team for the motivation. Again, thank you all. We couldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. We wouldn't be here without all of your support. And we're just going to continue to push and get the help we all need, get the support we all need, and continue to grow this community. Like and subscribe. We'll see y'all on Wednesday. Semper Fi, my friend. Hurrah!